Why is Chinese humor so hilarious? There is a subtlety and a smirk behind the things that make us funny and that we find funny. Chinese humor is deeply rooted in the linguistic complexities of the language, which makes it a bit of an insider's game. Because Mandarin is tonal, a single sound can mean 10 different things, allowing for puns and nuances to be incredibly layered. We poke fun at topics without being too overt, which is a very classic Chinese way of handling social commentary. Chinese have an appreciation for the absurd. There are jokes that are intentionally unfunny or so dry that the humor comes from the awkward silence that follows. The legendary Tiger Mom jokes, it's not just about complaining, it's a form of shared trauma bonding where people are laughing at the extreme expectations placed upon us growing up. We use self-deprecation as a shield, making light of our own failures in a way that actually builds a strong sense of community. Self-deprecation is a huge pillar of Chinese humor because it helps people save face while still being relatable. Regional humor is very distinct, especially in contrast between northern and southern styles. People from Beijing are famous for their sort of cynical, street smart banter that's very fast paced. On the other hand, southern humor often feels a bit more observational and grounded in the quirks of business and daily life. The Beijing style specifically has a style energy of how quickly you can retort to an insult. Joking about someone trying too hard to be impressive is a staple of dinner table conversations. The way people handle bad news through humor is also quite unique. There's a stoicism involved where instead of complaining, people use irony to distance themselves from the situation. It's a laugh so you don't cry mentality that has been refined through centuries of various social and economic shifts. Parents are, of course, the ultimate comedic topic in the Chinese household humor. The humor usually stems from the clash between traditional styles and values and the modern world. These stories are told with a mix of frustration and deep affection, highlighting the generational gap without truly being mean-spirited about it. A mother's nagging or a father's silent disapproval, don't we all have that in our lives? There is also a subtle art to praise that is actually a veiled insult sometimes, known as dahe. It's when someone gives an overly grand or ridiculous compliment to point out a person's actual flaws. It's a very sophisticated way of being mean while maintaining perfect social decorum. Social decorum is key. Chinese humor tends to be more from the neck up, focusing on wit, wordplay, and situational irony. There's a respect for the breadth of a joke, knowing exactly when to let the audience catch up to a complex pun. At its core, Chinese humor is about connection. Even when it's biting or cynical, it's usually aimed at finding common ground in our complicated society. Bittersweetness is actually a very common flavor in Chinese wit. It's rarely just pure joy, there's almost always a hint of the struggle underneath it. This depth is what makes it so resonate with us all. It feels earned rather than cheap. Survival is another recurring theme, even in the way people joke about the weather or the smog. There's a we're all in this together attitude that turns environmental challenges into a source of grim amusement. There's a testament to the resilience of the Chinese people that we can take a joke in almost any situation. A well-timed liner can dissolve a heated argument in seconds by giving both parties a bridge to walk down. In this sense, a humor isn't just entertainment, it's a vital tool for social harmony. Subtlety is the ultimate hallmark of Chinese humor. If a joke is too loud or too obvious, no good. The highest form of humor is the one that makes you smile 10 minutes later when you finally get the third layer of the joke. The magic is also in the unsaid. So much of Chinese humor happens in the pauses, the side glances, and the implied endings. Trust is the final piece of the puzzle. You don't joke with someone that you don't trust because a joke is a moment of vulnerability. When a Chinese person shares a joke with you, it's actually a sign that they feel comfortable enough to do that in your presence. In the end, that's what Chinese humor is all about, finding the sweetness in the bitter and the laugh in the struggle.